And the winner of Game of the Year 2017 is Kane and Lynch 2.
Fucking top draw, mate. Get your tits out mine, Jack. We all know Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a pedo.
2017 is drawing to a close, or has already closed probably by the time I put this up. It's time to count down my top games of the year. This year I'm only doing 5 because quite frankly there wasn't 10 games I felt really passionate about, to be honest. Video games exhausted me this year with all the microtransaction controversies and that. The list is limited to games I've played because I'm not one of them wanks who just make stuff up, so there probably is some great games I've missed, like Divinity Original Sin 2. Funnily enough, just started playing it. It's well good, but I haven't put enough hours into it yet, so there's a little disclaimer for ya. So without further ado, here are my top 5 games of the year, pal. Oh, hang on, I haven't played Nier Automata yet, so don't go on about that. I can only handle so many weeb games in a year. Number 5, Yakuza Zero. Any game in which I can go about smashing in knobheads' faces with a bike and then go to a karaoke club after and get hammered is alright in my book. The fighting is so violently satisfying. You can smash people's heads into walls, doors, urinals, and even other people's heads. Perfect to blow off steam to after imagining doing the same to customers at your job. It has a great story with 2 likeable protagonists, as well as loads of side stories that take the serious tone of the main plot and launches it into a wacky Japanese game show. Helping a BDSM artist become more confident, managing a band, pretending to be a girl's boyfriend so her dad will stop moaning at her. Closet lesbian. There's so many side activities to do as well, besides the before mentioned karaoke, mini car racing, the batting cage, bowling, the phone club, which is where you go on the pull on the phone. No, I'm not joking, and loads more. It's a good laugh all round, and I can't recommend it enough. Number 4, Resident Evil 7. I didn't expect to like Resi 7. I thought it would be just a game designed to attract twatty YouTubers who just scream on facecam rather than providing any entertaining original content. But Herculean beings like myself can be wrong. Having a horror game be scary whilst you're armed to the teeth is a hard thing to pull off, yet Resi 7 did it. The atmosphere is thick with the sound design enhancing it tenfold. The Baker family are a great cast of antagonists. That fight in the greenhouse with Marguerite Baker made me foul my nap hair, let me tell ya. Mainly because the majority of that fight is just an old woman getting her manky fanny out. Fair enough, I get the criticism that the moulded enemies are boring and have no variety, but that is the only thing I can think of. It blends ideas from the old Resident Evil games and modernises them in a way that feels more streamlined. I know people hate that word, but sometimes it is a good thing, you fat mess. Because of the simpler mechanics, it runs at a good pace, no running back and forth to find which key works in what door or fucking about with your inventory every 5 seconds. It lasts as long as it needs to and provides an engaging, frightening experience. Number 3, the Golf Club 2. I have never had a game make me want to throw my controller at my own testes this badly. Isn't this meant to be a best games list, Glenn? Yes, I am getting to that, you impatient tit. As frustrating as the Golf Club 2 is, it is the best golf game ever made, I think. It leans very hard on the realism side, with deep swing mechanics and complicated physics that feel like they are trying their best to bend me over and give me a good Roger in at points, but they aren't, I am just shit. The number one thing that impressed me about this game though is content. There is an infinite number of courses to play thanks to the game's course designer, and it's simple to pick one from the community to play. People have painstakingly recreated official courses all the way to wacky weird ones. The customization is really good too. You make your own character, tournaments, customize your clubhouse, create your own online golf club, and even customize different parts of your golf clubs if you're boring and middle-aged. Basically, it is a cracking package if you have the patience to learn the game's finer points, but believe me, it will test you. It is a bit rough around the edges at times. I mean, it doesn't look that great. The commentary is bordering on sexual assault, and it is almost impossible to do a half-power shot. But I will be very keen to see the Golf Club 3 if these things get resolved, because it could be the perfect golf game, but this comes damn close at points. Number 2, Persona 5. I loved Persona 3 and 4. I think they are two of the best JRPGs ever made, a cross of a high school anime mixed with a satisfying dungeon crawler, which might not sound like much, but trust me, each element of these games is so well thought out. Persona 5 continues this tradition, but has very different themes compared to the previous entries, which goes to creating another cast of endearing characters, as well as a well-written, engaging story. The combat is turn-based and has an almost musical rhythm to it when you start to get it down. It focuses on finding an enemy's weakness to knock them down, then beating them up and stealing their lunch money. No, honestly, that is basically what you can do, or negotiating with the enemy to join you. The social sim side is well done too. Each character is well written and has an interesting arc for you to follow through. Why do it though, you ask? Well, to put it simply, the more top mates you get, the more powerful you become. Both come together to create a unique, amazing game. It is long, absorbing, has a gorgeous style, and most importantly makes anime archetypes almost tolerable. Number 1. Torment, Tides of Numenera, or however you say it. Torment is probably the nerdiest game I have ever played, and there is nothing wrong with that. This is what happens when you try not to appeal to hashtag top lads, squad goals, cheeky nandos, cars, tits, football, type males, and just be fucking creative. It makes for a game that feels like it was made with passion. It's such a hard game to describe, but I will try anyway. If Dungeons and Dragons took acid, weed, magic mushrooms, and a hint of ketamine, this would be the result. Millions of years in the future, many civilizations have risen and fallen. Then one day, you wake up falling from the moon towards the earth. You find out relatively quickly you are a cast-off, a body which God got bored of and cast aside. How is that for an introduction? Mental, ain't it? And it gets weirder from there. Torment is what I would call a proper RPG. Not any of this, numbers occasionally come up on screen, so it's an RPG. You can actually role-play in this. Funny how so many RPGs forget that, isn't it? You can get through the whole game without fighting if you want, but that is a shame since the combat is a nice tactical turn-based system. You can create some amazing moments by talking your way out though. Convincing a dark demigod that feeds on pain and suffering to just pack it in and kill himself is something I never thought I would do in a game, but there we go. It's just so weird and wonderful. Even dying at some points isn't game over. In fact, it might be the most optimal thing to do in that particular moment. At the end of the day, if you like old school RPGs like Pillars of Eternity, but thought it could have benefited from the development team taking a lot of Class A drugs, well, here you go. So there we are, 5 games I felt very happy about this year. Take comfort in them as we head ever closer to our inevitable Armageddon. Happy New Year, by the way.